So, lads, I watched back on this game right here, and I'm just gonna say it is right now. We saw a absolutely awful performance from Apostrophe. We saw an awful performance. Look, I don't like it. I think AJ Wilson is really good. I don't like AJ Wilson. I really don't like AJ Wilson, but she's so good. Like we have to separate the art from the artist and all that, and you don't have to like AJ Wilson, but you do kind of have to admit, she is really freaking good at basketball. But like she it was a disaster. This game was an unmitigated disaster. And I'm going to talk more in another video about the excuses. The excuses that that everybody made. The media literally, they spent half the game making excuses for why AJ was bad. And in my unpopular opinion, I don't think these excuses make AJ look any better. Because, do you want to know what the craziest thing is? I think these are explanations more than just like excuses. I think this is actually, I think the media saying this makes AJ look even worse. They basically tried to say, first of all, I can get the clips and I'll talk more about it later, because it's a completely different point talking about AJ herself and then talking about how the media are treating AJ. But they basically said, oh, the whole MVP thing and all the interviews and everything around that has, distracted AJ Wilson. And I think that might have been the case. 6 for 22. She couldn't score on Lexi Hull. Yeah, she only went 4 of 5 from the free throw line. And by the way, she was literally she got a couple of phantom free throws. She got away with shoving Lexi Hull on the ground a few times. She absolutely stunk it up. She stunk it up. She drew, she fouled at some absolutely awful times. There were some real bad times where she fouled. And yes, the Aces are way better with her on the floor. I don't think she was bad by her standards in this game. She shot badly. I don't think she was that bad in the game. But it is clear with AJ Wilson, and that's what people don't realize about her game, is that she is a player that's the worst. We've all kind of played with these players, but she's not one of these players that tends to, if she's not hitting the midi, she settles more for the midi. She almost tries to, for lack of a better way of describing, she tries to force the mid-range shots to go in a couple of times. And for me, I'm like, I think I don't particularly like AJ's shot diet, but she is that good, in fairness. She's that good that it's okay. She's going to hit those shots. But at the end of the day, she was not good. She got completely outplayed by Leah Boston, who, ironically, you look at Leah Boston, you see, 6 points. In my opinion, she got outplayed by Aaliyah. I thought Aaliyah made the more winning plays. I thought AJ took more shots. I thought that was really the difference. I thought Aaliyah was better on defense. I thought Aaliyah did a really good job on AJ. And I thought Aaliyah was the best South Carolina player on the floor yesterday. Because you can't purely just look at the box score. You can't in these games. You cannot judge based on the box score. Because Lexi Hull hooped. She hooped. Absolutely hooped. But, yeah, it is one of those things where, she goes and wins an MVP. It happens. We saw when Dirk won the MVP. And that's one of the weird things about announcing the MVP, kind of during the playoffs, in the first round of the playoffs, is that the Indiana Fever were up for the game, and Aja just wasn't. She was not up for the game. And, that's not saying that Aja's not going to go and drop 33 times in a row. Even, there's a chance that Aja Wilson drops 33 in a row. Because Aja's that good a player. But her head was not in that game. It was not. Aaliyah had her. You can see she was getting frustrated, and like there were a couple of occasions where again the referees could have, called a couple more fouls and Asian. She could have been out of the game. Like, she could have been out of that game with a couple of offensive fouls. And Aaliyah Boston was just frustrating the heck out of her. She was frustrated, like, against the Fever, and Steph White was frustrating her. Aaliyah was. And, like, at times, heck, even Michaela Timpson frustrated her for a couple of plays. Bree Turner frustrated her. Like, there's a lot of defense. There's a lot of really good things on this Fever team, and Aja Wilson just did not have an answer. Aja Wilson she just didn't have an answer for what the Fever were throwing. She didn't have an answer for Aaliyah Boston, and I think she just didn't, not that she didn't want to be there. I think she just thought it was a formality. I think she thought that it was just a formality. I'm the MVP. I'm going to go drop 30. This is the Fever. This is the hospital Fever. And the Fever have shown, if nothing else, that you cannot be complacent against them. We saw it, like, even when the Fever were like bordering on going below 500. There was a game when they played the Liberty where the Liberty were up like 18 points early. And it was suddenly a ball game again when the Liberty like kind of took their foot off the gas. And I've said it, I'm like, this Indiana Fever team, you need to play hard for 40 minutes. Otherwise, the Fever are coming back, because the Fever play hard for 40 minutes. And that was literally what this game came down to. I thought the Aces were pretty decent for 30 of the 40 minutes. It was just in those other 10 minutes, especially when in some minutes when Aja was off the floor. When she was on the floor, she was struggling. But when she was off the floor, it was like the team gave up. The Aces did not play hard for 40 minutes. The Fever did. And in the playoffs, you can't do that. You cannot get away with not playing for 40 minutes against this Indiana Fever team. And I think the crowd being so rowdy helps the Fever, because the Fever simultaneously play off their crowd and they play off the boos. They play off the loud noises. They play off everything. But yeah, it was a really interesting one to see. And I watched back on the game, and like, yes, it was an Aja Wilson shooting disaster class, but there were also an absolute disaster class when she wasn't on the floor for those 6 minutes. And Fever didn't make anything easy for her. And look, I like Jackie Young. I think Jackie Young is the only shooting guard that you can debate is better than Kelsey Mitchell. I think she's the only one you can debate is better than Kelsey. Like, just purely because of how good Jackie Young has been on defense. But, I mean, what the hell Kelsey Mitchell did to this team is, like, may or may not have violated the Geneva Convention. But, yeah, that is pretty much it, lads. Do I think the Fever are going to win? I'm still going to say no. But do I think the Fever have a chance? Sure. Do I think Age is going to bounce back? Yeah. But look, fantastic game and fantastic job on Aja Wilson. Anyway, I'll see you guys.